General outlook as the calendar moves on into December. First of all, I found winter. I'm going to show you where that is. Obviously, I'm talking Europe, parts of Eurasia, but there's some pretty cold weather that's dropped in. Our weather in much of northern North America has turned a little colder now into early December, but not outrageously so. In fact, for the most part, it's warmer than average still, or at worst, near average temperatures. And in this particular pattern over North America, we're still not seeing a big manifestation of widespread heavy snow cover. It's more pockety, more here and there, where you get a little weather system passing through. That will eventually change, obviously. The cold weather in Europe, the really frigid stuff is Siberian and parts of Scandinavia, but a lot of the central part of Europe is actually quite cold with below average temperatures. There's been some snow in parts of the northern UK as well, and really most of Europe is quite chilly. That's because the polar vortex, that circulation around the northern part of the pole, well, it's a lot colder over Europe than it is right now over North America. We do certainly have some frigid weather, but it's up in the higher latitudes. Cold weather, that is to say high temperatures near or below freezing, have dropped down into parts of Montana, North Dakota, and Minnesota, and around the Great Lakes from time to time. But a lot of the southeast is actually warming up now after a kind of a chilly November down in places like Florida. A lot of 80s this week, maybe even a few spots pretty deep into the 80s. And this is actually going to set up with the jet stream at this particular angle, potential for some thunderstorms in parts of the mid-south this week. Cold weather will kind of linger in the northern plains, but again, this is not frigid. This is mostly 20s and 30s in the dark blue. There will be some spots that for a day or two that have a high temperature in the teens, but it's mostly not going to be that really cold stuff that sometimes starts to invade the U.S. during the month of December. There's plenty of time for it this winter. It's still fairly early in the season, obviously. As we spin on into the second week, no dramatic change in the pattern is expected. It will remain relatively cold across the north, but the frigid weather will remain locked up. Many parts of Florida, Texas, and much of the Mid-South will actually be quite warm. So the weather pattern as such, we're going to yield showers and thunderstorms in the southeastern states and the Mid-South. Probably some snow, not necessarily excruciatingly heavy, but some areas of snow over the northeast. And a couple of chances of light to moderate snow will likely yield some snowpack over parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. Most of the really heavy stuff, though, precipitation-wise, is going to be in the mountains of the Pacific Northwest. Same thing as we move on through mid-December. We're seeing an expansion of snow in the Rockies, a kind of a stormy mid-south, and areas of snow around the Great Lakes. But at the present time, I'm not really seeing that big widespread snow spread.